What's good, Joe? Welcome to my review for Black Widow. And man, yo, I was kind of worried and a little bit interested about Black Widow because some of the other reviews I've seen for the movie, like more specifically Chris Stuckman, he wasn't super high on the film, so I was kind of curious on, I'm curious what I was going to think of when I went into this movie. And man, yo, I gotta say, this is probably. First off, I find it hilarious that this was meant to start Phase 4, but because of the pandemic, everything got delayed and delayed and delayed. And this is the fourth thing that's been shown off in Phase 4. Obviously, the other three being the Disney Plus series, WandaVision, Loki, and Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I just find that this was meant to start Phase 4, and now where it is in the timeline. But anyway. This movie was fucking awesome. Low-key, I probably would say this might be one of my all-time favorite MCU films. I probably would say possibly in my top 10. I would probably say this might go into my, if I was to rank it, I probably might put this in my top 10 list. But this was definitely one of my all-time favorites. And yo, the opening of the film was fan-fucking-tastic. We'll go a little bit more detail as the review gets started. But yo, one thing I want to say off the bat here and now, just before we jump right into this review, this movie is everything, as I said on Twitter, is everything Captain Marvel should have been. Like, the story is so much better, the characters are so much better, there's so much more emotion. This isn't Star-Lord having to carry the movie by herself because the script is just that fucking horrible. None of that shit, like it was with Captain Marvel. And look, I still stand by what I said in my original reviews in my other videos. I still do think the movie is a very good Marvel film. Hell, my rating has probably dropped to like an 8.5. Probably. But, it's not the worst. It was still a very enjoyable film, and it was still a great Marvel movie that I still enjoyed. But my God, it did not do Carol any favors, and it just butchered Kelly Sue DeConnick's original Captain Marvel from 2012. But I've already talked ad nauseum about Captain Marvel. You guys, of course, have probably already seen those videos. If not, I'll have it up in the icons above. Anyway, guys, like I said, this is what everything Captain Marvel should have been, man. And I was just shocked. I'm like, yo, this is so much better. Why couldn't you do this with Captain Marvel? Like, this is so much better than Captain Marvel. Like, why? Why couldn't you just do this with her? You know what I mean? But anyway, man, enough jibba jabba. Let's just jump right in. So, the movie is directed by Kate Shortland, and of course stars Scarlett Johansson, Florence Pugh, I don't know how you pronounce her last name, Rachel Wesley, David Harbour, I think so you say his last name. And the plot of the movie is taking place between the events of Civil War and Infinity War. Natasha Romanoff confronts the dark past of her ledger when a dangerous conspiracy with ties to her past arise. Pursued by a force that will stop at nothing to bring her down, Natasha must deal with her history as a spy and the broken relationships left in her wake long before she became an Avenger. Now, first thing we gotta talk about is obviously the cast. Scarlett Johansson once again gives a fantastic performance as Natasha Romanoff as Black Widow. She is once again fantastic in the film. Florence, she also did a fantastic job as Yela, and the rest of the cast also did an amazing job. Especially David, who voiced the Red Guardian. Love that guy. He was low-key probably the highlight of the film. Loki stole the show, man. Every time he was on screen, he was so much fun. Absolutely love it. Another thing I gotta give major props to, as I mentioned at the start of this video, the opening. I gotta say, I was tempted to tweet this, honestly, while I was watching the opening of the film, but I was like, now I'll keep my phone in there, just watch it, I was so tempted to tweet this while I was watching the film. But yo, this has one of the best openings, I would say, to any MCU movie to date. I absolutely love the opening of this film, because as you guys probably saw from the trailers, obviously starts off a little bit of flashback to when Natasha was a kid. But that was cool. That was great as well. But what I loved was the whole title sequence, because it was very Winter Soldier-esque, where you had like the found footage kind of thing, with footage when Natasha was getting trained and what happened to her, and with this music. It was a great song that they had playing in the background, and it just looked really cool. It looked very found footagey and underground, like you weren't supposed to see this. You know what I mean? Very much akin to the Winter Soldier. And I just thought it looked really awesome and just looked absolutely fantastic. I was really surprised by the opening film. It was really fucking good, man. I love the opening film. You guys, of course, seen the movie. You guys know what I'm talking about. Another thing I gotta praise, Taskmaster. I don't know what the hell has been up with all this slander regarding Taskmaster in this film. Like, I saw a tweet going on there with some bitching about the costume, which I think personally, I think it looks fine. I love the costume that we have for the MCU. Comics Drakes made a video about how apparently this movie ruined Taskmaster. I didn't watch it because in the race for that it might have spoilers for the film. So I'll also probably watch it after I finish recording the review. But you have that, and I'm just sitting here like, yo, what's with all this Taskmaster slander going on right now? This man was fucking awesome in the film. Like, this man was kicking ass, taking names. He looked so badass doing the shit, especially during the fight sequences. Oh my god, the fight sequences. One thing this movie absolutely shits on Captain Marvel, it's without the fight scene. And unlike Captain Marvel, the fight scenes are cut to shit in here. They all look great. You get some longer takes, no one-take action scenes like it's fucking Daredevil or nothing like that. But they looked fantastic. I love that they sometimes did like some overhead shots. And bro, look at me, especially the sections that were filmed in IMAX. Shit, bro. Like, I saw this movie in IMAX, and a handful of sections of films was indeed recorded in IMAX. And bro, those scenes looked absolutely beautiful. If you guys can catch this movie in IMAX, do yourself a favor and catch it in IMAX. It blew me away, man, with how beautiful it was. It's when we get to those IMAX set pieces, man, and they looked absolutely phenomenal, man. Although this will probably be the last Marvel movie I'll see in IMAX for a while, because, you know, later on this year we got Shang-Chi and the Eternals, which is both coming out in September and November. I'm gonna be humbled by then, and there's like no IMAX theater near me at that point, so those I'll have to watch in like normal theaters. So I went out with a bang and had a good treat for me with Black Widow. But yeah, man. So that was great. And one other thing that was also just fantastic film is just the overall relationship between Yelena and Natasha. Their relationship obviously carries the film. It's the heart of the film. The whole family dynamic in general with those two and like their I guess foster parents from the Red Guardian and the other woman. Those sections were great, but definitely sisterly bond between Yelena and Natasha without a doubt was the best part. Man, those two absolutely carried the film. They had so much great chemistry with each other, and they were both fantastic. Yelena as a character in general, I thought was great. She was probably I really enjoyed her, and I definitely hope to see her more things, which it looks, judging from the post-credit scene, which we, of course, will be talking about in the spoiler discussion, definitely looks like we are going to be seeing more of her, which I can't wait, because I thought she was great. There was this one scene where I swear this was just poking fun at just superheroes in general, where she's like going on like, oh, why do you do that pose with the hair flip and everything? Like, I was just actually dying at this scene. But this movie, once again, the comedy is on point, like as it usually is with the MCU, man. But yeah, the relationship between those two was absolutely fantastic. I already mentioned Taskmaster. He was fucking awesome. All the times when he was on screen, man, he was fantastic. Taskmaster was so fucking awesome, man. I loved every time he was on screen. The Red Guardian, I already told you how he stole the show, man. He was also fantastic, hilarious as fuck, man. And I always enjoyed him whenever he was on screen. Props to the woman whoever they voiced playing, whoever they got playing the young version of Natasha we saw at the opening. Her performance was actually really good. From when we saw her in the beginning of the film, I was actually kind of surprised how good it was. It's not like Oscar worthy or anything, but I was like, oh, her performance was pretty good actually. Very good performance from her. But yeah, man. I already mentioned the action set pieces. They're beautifully shot. Like I said before, there are no like god tier one take action scenes like it's Daredevil or fucking like Atomic Blonde or anything. But there definitely are longer takes, and they're not cut to shit like they were in Captain Marvel. Which like the one fight with what was it, like Samuel Jackson and that one scroll dude, that was like the white dude with the glasses. That shit was like cut. Like it was like cut to shit, man. So yeah, like I already mentioned before, how this movie was just everything that Captain Marvel should have been. Like everything that Captain Marvel faltered at, Black Widow does 10 times better. Action set pieces, these were definitely way better. Captain Marvel had its own good action set pieces, especially around the end when Carol goes, full fucking Super Saiyan mode and all that shit. Those were really good. But Black Widow, I think, will have much better action set pieces, especially when we go into the usual like hand-to-hand stuff where I already mentioned before how they're like beautifully shot. I really like the overhead shots they did a couple of times, and they're just really well shot. The section where they're like out that Sokovia, wherever I don't know. I think they were like some Russian prison or somewhere. I don't even remember. That's like snowy like prison that they were on. That's in all the trailers where they have the white suits and everything. That stuff was fucking awesome, man. I love that set pieces, man. And like the finale shit, and the finale shit, fantastic, man. Especially the one scene where Taskmaster and Natasha are like falling down like the broken parts of like the base or whatever, and they're just fighting. It looked fucking awesome, man. It was absolutely fantastic. So yeah, man, that's really all I gotta say for like my positives of the film. Like overall, I fucking loved it, man. And like I mentioned before, how this definitely is way better characters than Captain Marvel. The writing and the overall story was way better, and I was definitely way more engaged into this film than I ever was in Captain Marvel. Like I said, Brie Larson was the only reason I didn't give that movie a much lower rating. She carried that film on her fucking back, along with Samuel Jackson and Goose. Without them, Captain Marvel would have been I would have been way harsher on that one. It would not have been nearly as good. But yeah, but yeah, like I said, I already ranted enough about that. Now, as far as negatives I had with the film, there was really only like two things I think I had kind of an issue with. One, I thought the main villain, like not Taskmaster, like the one that's actually pulling the strings and everything, I felt like he was a little bit underdeveloped. Now, overall, I thought he was great, and the guy they had portraying him, he did a great job when we actually do see him on screen at the end of the film. And I loved the confrontation he had, the confrontation between him and Natasha. I thought it was fantastic, and I loved it. I just feel I feel like he could have been. I think they could have made him a slightly better villain had he had been had much more of a bigger presence throughout the film, rather than him more or less appealing to other characters, building him up, and he's mostly just not even really much of a factor. So like they believe that you always have other characters building him up, and like how this dude can't be killed. He's super secretive. No one knows where he is. You know, they don't know where the red base is, the red room is, and all that shit. And which was fine, but I feel like we could actually like see him maybe more so him pulling the strings and him just having a bit more of a presence throughout the earlier parts of the film. I think that could have made him a slightly more. I think they could have made me a bit more invested in him as a villain. Like I said before, he was great from what we saw at the end, but I think that could have made him just a bit better if he had a bit more of a presence in the first half of the film. But one thing that I definitely did have a problem with, and I was really hoping we would see this because this is her solo film. I was hoping that we would see this, and it's like I wish we actually did see like Natasha training, like from when she was taken into this organization to when she was like what? I think she was like what? 14 maybe was when that opening was. I think she was like around like 14ish age, I think. Maybe 12, I'm not sure, but she was basically like a teenager. And then having seen like her training from when she was there to when she became like this badass super spy that we all know of her today. Like, I'm not asking for nothing crazy, maybe like a 5-10 minute long montage. Go full on Red Sparrow with it, which I'm sure all like 2 people who are watching this video even know what the fuck I'm talking about. It was a spy film released in 2018. It was honestly really fucking good, and I highly recommend you guys do check it out. If you guys like your spy films, check it out. It was actually really good. It stars Jennifer Lawrence, and she gave a fantastic performance in it. And that's actually what reminded me. Oh yeah, I forgot. Jennifer Lawrence is one of the best actresses working today. Because I forgot about that because the last film I saw her because she took like a huge break. Because there was like nothing in between, at least that I saw anyway, between that and Apocalypse, which is like the last movie I saw her, and we all know she was basically just sleepwalking there. But yeah, because like in Red Sparrow, they actually showed off when she was getting trained into being the super spy, and all that shit. I would have liked to see that what actually went, because we haven't really seen it. The only other time we saw it was like a little bit of an Ultron, but that was it. Like, show us the thing. Show us the fucking surgery they're removing her fucking ovaries. I don't care. It's just like, show us her actually becoming the spy, Like I said, we do get a little bit of that in the intro, but it was more or less just kind of like a montage and like just like shit kind of like sprinkled in together. It wasn't like one full scene we see her like from teenager to where she is as an adult, I would have liked to see that, but, that's just me. So, of course, guys, I'm going to give you guys my final verdict, and then we're going to go right to sports discussion, which is basically just the sports discussion. It's just going to be us talking about the post-credit scene, because the post-credit scene for this movie was fucking awesome. And so, overall, I'm going to give Black Widow, as you guys probably saw if you guys follow me on Twitter, a 10 out of. Like I said, this is definitely one of my favorite MCU movies recently. I'd probably put this in my top 10, honestly. It's everything Captain Marvel should have been. It actually has good characters, great writing, amazing action set pieces, fantastic performances, man, and this is, like I said before, this is everything Captain Marvel should have been. I don't get it how, in Black Widow, you have amazing action set pieces, actual semblance of style, shit's actually given in the production, great writing, and, great characters, and, all that good shit. Yeah, with Captain Marvel, it was just butchering a great comic book run, zero shits given, Brie Larson carrying the film on her back, basically. It's like, like it's like I'm watching the Tales of Two Cities or whatever the saying is. Like it's like Captain Marvel, the one film that Marvel was pushing, and everyone like the one they were really pushing, like, oh, Carol, she's gonna be the face of the MCU, and they just dropped the ball so hard with it, and just really did not do Carol any favors in trying to build her back up. And then with Black Widow, which is the one the fans always wanted, and they finally gave us to them, and they actually did a good job with it. And they actually, really did well by Natasha and made a great film. It's like, what happened here? Did they learn from Captain Marvel and then they decided, okay, let's actually do Black Widow actually good this time? What happened? You know what I mean? But anyway, man, like I said before, this film was awesome, man, and I highly recommend you guys check it out if you guys have not already. So yeah, of course, you guys do not want to get any spoilers. Of course, now is your time to leave, as we are now going to be jumping into the spoiler discussion, which we're going to talk about the post-credit scene. So, anyway, let's just jump right in. So, the post-credit scene, which I was actually kind of surprised we didn't get like a mid-credit scene. This literally is how the movie ends. They have the ending, and they just go straight to the black credits. They didn't have the usual like normal credits where they have like, oh, they show like the cast member's name, you have some music and some cool visuals behind it. Then we get the mid-credit scene. Then they get to the standard black credits, and then we'll get to the post-credit scene. They just went straight to the black credits and went to just the post-credit scene, which that's kind of surprising. But anyway, we started off. We have Yelena visiting Natasha's grave, because, of course, this is taking place after Endgame, and as we know, Natasha died in Endgame. And so then, and I'm pretty sure I was like the only person losing my shit, in the theater. I'm pretty sure I was like the only person. I was like, oh my god, I was actually getting excited for this. But who cares anyway? But she's there. She's like mourning the death of her sister. Then we have that chick that we saw at the end of Falcon and the Winter Soldier that, of course, took over what's his name to become a U.S. agent and all that shit. She's there. She's blowing her nose and everything, and she's like, "You're not supposed to visit me when I'm on vacation." And basically, so what ends up happening is that she hands her like this folder and say, "You want to catch the man that killed your sister?" And it's a picture of Hawkeye. Now, which obviously this is basically alluding that we're most likely going to see Yelena in the Hawkeye Disney Plus series. I think it's coming out next year. Not too sure of that. Now, this obviously got me super excited, because now when the Hawkeye, the Disney Plus series was originally first now, there was going to be with Kate Bishop and all that shit. I was moderately interested in it, and I was like, okay, because I heard a lot of great things about the original comic, and I was interested to see Kate Bishop see her introduction, Hawkeye getting his own series. I was interested in it, at the very least. But after this post-credit scene with Yelena now getting in the mix, I am now super excited for the Hawkeye series. I am really looking forward to now knowing that Yelena's most likely going to be having a major role in it, and that's definitely going to change things and make things interesting. How is Hawkeye going to be telling her that what happened to get the Soul Stone and everything? Is definitely going to make things way more interesting when the show actually comes out. So yeah, man, I'm super excited for Hawkeye way more now than I was before, just for this post-credit scene, man. So yeah, can't wait for Hawkeye to come out, man. Whenever that comes out, I'm super excited for it, because with Yelena now in the mix, ooh, that's going to be fun, especially whenever we get the confrontation between Yelena and Hawkeye. That is going to be fucking legendary, man. But anyway, guys, that's where we're going to end this video off. Leave your thoughts down below in the comment section below. Did you love it? Did you hate the movie? Do you agree with the slander going up against Taskmaster with how he was done in this film? Do you think, are you like me, where you're kind of more confused on why everyone is hating on Taskmaster? Because it's not like I have no experience with comics Taskmaster. Like, I've seen him a handful of times in the Nick Spencer's Spidey run, which is unfortunately nearing its end, which kind of depressed about, because I was such a big fan of Nick Spencer's run. That's what actually got me into comics and finally kept me in. But that, and of course Matthew Rosenberg's Punisher run as well. He made a couple appearances, and honestly, guys, if I'm being real, I think Taskmaster is way cooler in here than he was in the appearance I've seen him in those comics. But that's just me, guys. But yeah, that's where we're gonna end this video off. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you liked it, subscribe if you're new. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter. Flag links down in the description box below. And as always, come back for more. See you guys next time. She's too